Greetings, members, one and all of the Salivation Nation. Russia repeals tax on gold. Here's why, and let's explore. Indeed, what you're looking at here is the obverse of a Russian bullion coin, the 50 rubles, St. George the Victorious, brilliant uncirculated. We'll take a look at that here momentarily. Before we get into the story, let's take a look at where the metals are right now. As I mentioned in a video a couple of weeks now ago, stay tuned for a wild ride for gold and silver, and that's what we're seeing. Drops again today, although not by a whole lot. We are seeing gold now below the $2,000 level. Yay, though, it is up above my second prediction. In fact, I thought about making a third gold prediction video, but I might just leave well enough alone. I turned out to be right both times. I don't want to chance it because I'm usually wrong. So I might as well bask in the glory of being right every once in a while because it doesn't happen too often. Silver is down as well. The only metal that's up for today, as we are minutes away from the market closing, is platinum. Platinum is up $3, still below some of the recent highs that we've seen. Palladium has pulled back substantially, and it's still somewhat surprising, but it is a volatile metal. But I think some of this has to do with some relatively encouraging news, all things considered, on the war front and with Russia and Ukraine. So let's get into the news. Before I get into this, I'm going to say kind of how I found this. I was kind of looking around. I've been kind of on the prowl for this news because I've heard some rumblings and some rumors that perhaps that Russia was thinking about repealing its tax on gold, the VAT, which is a value-added tax, and it's 20%. We see it in the United Kingdom and other European countries. There's a lot of penalties for people trying to save in and with their hard-earned money and sound money. You know, the hard-earned money, it typically bleeds value year after year in every nation on earth, and especially here in the United States, but especially more so since the end of February. We are seeing that with Russia, with the ruble. So what has happened here is there's been talk about it. In fact, I just saw a video right before I started this video about an anecdotal evidence that the Russia has indeed repealed their VAT, their value-added tax. Think for yourself, has a contact that goes to Russia frequently. In fact, I know who that is. I know who he's talking about. And he has said that his contact there says that it has indeed happened. But he also heard from somebody else says that it has not happened. Well, we have confirmation now, as Russia Today has confirmed this, and Russia Today is the state-run media in Russia. And Russia drops gold tax, and now we have an idea as to why, to encourage savers to dump dollars. But it's also about saving themselves from their own currency, rubles, and so that this is kind of an interesting take, at least according to Russia Today. And part of it is because the United States, as well as is prohibiting dollars from being sent over to Russia right now as part of the increased sanctions on the country. Now, another friend of mine, a viewer here on this channel, has also sent me information about this as well. And I just kind of recently was able to peruse that. And so we have confirmation now that it is true. Russia has dropped the VAT. And so the individuals no longer have to pay a 20% value-added tax. And Russia President Vladimir Putin on Wednesday signed a law that exempts individuals from value-added tax on the purchase of gold. The measure is meant to provide support to Russian citizens looking to invest their rubles, which have been depreciating in value amidst Western sanctions. Moscow has imposed restrictions on the purchase of some foreign currencies, including the US dollar and the euro. The common way for Russians to protect their savings is in the past. In other words, what dollars are left in Russia. They want to encourage citizens to get gold instead of those dollars. And you know what? That is something I totally would agree with. In fact, I'm doing that here in the United States. Many of us are doing that here in the United States. We are dumping our dollars for gold. And why? Because, the dollar is depreciating faster and faster. It is now, with the latest CPI numbers, that's a consumer price index, the dollar is now, we're seeing inflation at a 40-year high yet again, 7.9%. Indeed. Now, we still have a ways to go before we break that 40-year high. I think it was 8.9 or something like that, or 8.7. But nonetheless, we are getting closer, and those are just the official numbers. When you take into account all of this increased fuel cost and oil and nickel and other things are skyrocketing right now, it just makes you wonder what the real number is. We know we have double-digit inflation. Nobody is being fooled by these official numbers. It's insanity. And we know it's not transitory. It is here to stay for quite a while. And this is why we are putting more and more of our money into gold. And I'm actually have done that as well, too. In fact, I've kind of overextended myself with some purchases. Some of them haven't shown you yet, but I'll get to those later. Because, hey, it's the dollar is losing value. So Moscow has imposed these restrictions, again, this is the way for Russians to protect their savings now with gold, especially since they repealed that tax. The document was published on the state portal for legal information. Corresponding amendments have also been made to the Russian tax code. The new legislation is retroactive and applies to purchases made since March 1st. So, yes, indeed, which is right around the beginning of kind of the war, or less than a week into the war. Now, I will say, going on to RT is somewhat of a challenge. For those of you familiar with buying coins on the U.S. Mint's website, there is actually something, and it may be something that's imposed in our country, that clears your browser or checks your browser settings before it allows you to go into it. And that could be something that maybe our State Department has or something on it to make sure that there's no malware attached with RT because it is state-run media. I don't know what it could be, but nonetheless, I would think that the Russian government would be okay with Americans or anybody else getting perspective from their side. And I think I encourage everybody to do that anyway. In fact, one thing I did is I went and watched an hour-long speech, the whole thing from Vladimir Putin, to have a better understanding from his side of the whole situation. So it hasn't changed my view, but gives me some better understanding of what's going on there. It's always good to look at as much information as you can about any subject, and this is something that certainly there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of rumors out there, the fog of war, but it's not just related to what's going on in Ukraine. It's just everything in general. Can we verify certain things? What kind of decisions can we make based off of information that could be twisted or maybe not in the right context? This is something that I think we can have pretty good validation that this has actually happened. It would make sense because, again, it's one of those things. Gold has no agenda. Gold is what it is. It'll do what it'll do, and it will preserve your wealth. Russians know it. Heck, terrorist organizations know it. Americans know it, at least smart Americans, and certainly people in China and India definitely know it. Nonetheless, here previously, when buying physical gold, Russians had to pay a 20% tax from the purchase in this value-added measure. When selling the precious metal back to the bank, the VAT paid was not returned. It's really horrible that these governments would charge this tax. That's one thing we're blessed here in the United States of America. At least we don't have that. We don't have to pay this tax when you buy and sell. At least, we do pay a sales tax in many of our states, depending on how much you buy, and you have to pay any taxes when you sell it as well too if it's over a certain amount. I don't know how they calculate that, but nonetheless, What will Russians be buying? More than likely these coins. This is a quarter ounce BU, AU, 50 rubles, Russia St. George gold coin. It's not been in stock for quite a while. Hard to come by here in the United States of America. This is kind of the weight of a sovereign coin. It's almost a quarter ounce, but it is made of 3/9 fine gold, but it's 2483 troy ounces. And it has the imperial coat of arms, along with the denomination, purity, and weight, and the year of mintage. Here we can see the reverse side. You can see it's 3/9 fine, 7.8 grams. And then we can see here on the obverse here, it's got St. George slaying the dragon, which we see on sovereigns as well. That's kind of the Russian version. Kind of a cool looking piece. If you want to see what these look like in person or on video, check out Cyber Curtain Twitcher's channel. He actually recently acquired some of these. I would like to get some of these. And there's also older Russian gold you can get as well too. And it looks like they're pretty expensive from bullion exchanges. Here's another site that has it, and it's sold out, but they were selling them for $803. Crazy. $803 for these things. But nonetheless, crazy. They have minted year after year, but there they are, and pretty wild. Here's an older Russian coin. This is actually a USSR coin, Soviet coin from 1976. Got the sower of seeds here, showing the work of the Russian communist. There you go. So very interesting indeed. That is where it is. And there's your news of the day. Let me know what your thoughts are. And it would be nice to see other countries do this as well and allow their citizens to not be penalized for trying to preserve their wealth, because they're at the mercy. We are all at the mercy of our central banks having these modern monetary policies. And obviously, this is something that is been done reactively by Vladimir Putin and the Russian Duma, I guess, is their legislature. And there it is. And so dollars are going to be hard to come by in Russia from now on, coming outside the country. So they're going to be more sought after probably inside the country. And this is a way to discourage getting dollars and encourage getting gold. And if I was a Russian citizen, I would be all over that, big time, getting the gold, not the dollars, for sure. Even if I supported the United States and living in Russia, I would still want to get gold. And so there you have it. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. I would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.